Welcome everyone. My name is Manish Shah. I'm the Midwest chapter lead of HSCRF. In my day job, I'm the Senior Director of R&D and Innovation at Lake Forest Graduate School of Management. Let me introduce today's holistic science expert. Dr. Sailesh Mehta, or we call him Dr. Sailesh Anandji, is a practicing ophthalmologist who owns a hospital in Vadodara, India. From his childhood, he was curious about deeper truths of life. He came in touch with self-realized holistic scientist Sri A.M. Patel, and through his grace, Dr. Mehta attained self-realization in 1977. Dr. Mehta is a celibate and is deeply experienced in the field of holistic inner science. He devotes his time studying, researching, and spreading the message of holistic inner science. In his quest to spread the message of holistic science, he has traveled to countries such as USA, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. His speeches on holistic science have been well received at national and international conferences. He's the author of several books which include Introduction to Holistic Science and Integral Living and The Science of Liberation. Welcome, Sailesh Anandji.
Greetings to all.
Last month we talked about wealth, and we will continue to explore this topic further. So Sailesh Anandji, most people associate wealth with money and material assets. What is the expansive definition of wealth as far as holistic science is concerned?
Sorry, this is a very good question. In the present world scenario, usually when the wealth is talked, we do correlate it with money, net worth, high net worth, low net worth, figures and whatnot. And unfortunately, we are ranking the people by that yardstick only. But if we really see from our life and living point of view, and especially for my happy, harmonious, rich inner living, there are so many other parameters which should be included in health. As we had already talked in last talk, that wealth is a tool and it's not a goal. Wealth is a tool which should enable you or which should help you to attain the purpose or goal of your life. In other words, it's resources which you have. And when we think of resources, the first thing which comes to my mind from the holistic inner science perspective is my mind, speech, and body, which is the most precious natural asset I have been given by nature. Can you think of that you are inherited of billions of dollars, but your mind is really not working, suffering from autism or whatnot? Can you think of that there are billions of dollars lying in the bank account, but your body is not giving you any support and you are not able to function even daily routine? So holistic inner science says that your mind, speech, and body given to you by nature is the first important asset or a resource which you can use to attain the higher purpose or goal of life and living. If we go a little more in detail, my abilities, my knowledge, I would say, the knowledge is also a very big tool. And if you see and go back, even the Steve Jobs one time had no dollar, but he had a knowledge, he had ability, he had skills, he had enthusiasm. So that got converted into the material dollars. So I would say that my knowledge, my understanding, my abilities, my skills, and if you see around in the society, the nature has given different people different gifts. Somebody may be a very good musician, somebody may be a very good dramatician, somebody may be a very good writer, and everybody can use their natural abilities in different ways, which we'll of course discuss in detail as we go ahead. Another important aspect, in ancient times also you must have heard of a proverb that your health is your first happiness. So when I speak of mind, speech, and body and health, of course I would like to say that even now in present times, even WHO has revised the definition of health, that it is not only the physical health, but it is the mind, body, soul, complete health. So as I said, mind, speech, body, health as a total health, then my knowledge, understanding, ability, skills, then my heart is also my asset. heart in relation to intellect, how they are functioning, and if I still go deeper down, my time is also my resource or my asset. How really do I use my time? And when I say how really, of course, the time use of time goes with my inner vision. What is my inner vision? What do I want to really achieve from my life? What is purpose or goal? If I have this clear understanding by the way of holistic inner science, I think I am the most resourceful person, even though my bank balance may be slim. Uh, and if I have to quote a few examples, if you see the people who are being remembered after thousands of years, like holistic scientist M. Patel or many saints and sages, they hardly kept or never kept a rupee or a dollar in their pocket. But they had so many other resources from within their own self, including the knowledge of pure self, experience of the pure self, that not only they became very blissful, but they became instrumental for thousands and thousands of people to become blissful and bring transformation into their life. I hope this concept brings a lot more clarity that especially in the present time of stress and strain, and despite every material gadgets, when the society or mankind as a whole is passing through lots of stress and turmoil, we need to rethink and relook. And here, if I quote an article which one of you sent me, that was published in Yash magazine of March 2015, probably by one Sarah, some author, and it was titled it How Americans Lost Track of Good Life and Where to Find It, which aptly discussed that the material wealth, though is a one tool, probably there are other more important parameters to be looked at for happy living.
So
So
that's,
if you, yes, please.
no, go ahead.
So having said that, if you wish, we'll go to each area one by one, or as you suggest, please.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where I was heading. You read my mind, Sailesh Anandji. So if we can elaborate on how we can leverage each of these assets, mind, speech, body, knowledge, time, etc., to our benefit and the benefit of humanity, that would be wonderful.
Oh, very good. So when I say mind, speech, body, and my understanding, my knowledge or my skills, now as a normal human, I tend to use my mind, speech, body, my intellect, whatever. If I'm a doctor, you are a human resource management expert, somebody may be computer expert, somebody may be musician. In a present time, I tend to look at, okay, how much it gets translated into my salary package or my bank balance. But when really looked at, when I understood that if I add the intent of making others happy, of helping others, of obliging others, of caring, sharing, loving, then it became my main product. It started no, even before my action started, of any action of mind, speech, and body, which is going to help others, do help me first, because it first gives me fulfillment. Before making others happy, it do make me happy first. So this understanding when added, so that is why Lord Mahavir said that yoga upayogo paropakarai, and Vivekanand came out with a sentence that those who live for others really live. But having said that, modern intellect will not readily accept why to live for others, and in the societies like yours, nobody even goes to look at what the other is doing. Where is the question of living for others? But when I realize that really when I'm not doing for others, I'm doing for myself first. Before obliging others, I'm being obliged. So that became my first intent of using my mind, speech, body, my knowledge, my abilities, my skill, and my time, whatever I'm doing, that let me add this simple inclination, inner decision and resolution of mine, that let my mind, speech, and body oblige others, make others happy. So many times the people come out with the discussion that how the management strategy of business should be developed. And the holistic inner science has a simple input that if your intent is to take care of your consumers or clients, your stakeholders, your shareholders, your employees, then your byproduct of income, your employees and consumers without much of advertising staying with you for a very, very long time, even in this competition, your trustworthiness, your credibility, everything will come as a byproduct. So whatever, see, if I'm a musician, I can decide, okay, let my music soothe the heart of the people. Let my music make them happy. Let my music be inspirational to them. Let my music give them some message of life purpose or life goal. You may be a dramatician, you may be in any walk of life, whatever you have, abilities or skills. But when this simple intent is added, that let this action of my mind, speech and body help others, I think the everything becomes in proper perspective. If I move ahead, as I say my knowledge, and when I say knowledge, there is a worldly knowledge, which is academic knowledge, informations and other things, which at times tend to raise my ego, which at times raise to inflate my ego. And there is another knowledge which I say the which sometimes people also says wisdom, but I say it goes much more beyond wisdom, because that's the knowledge about my own life and living, which makes me happy, harmonious, rich, and having meaningful living for myself. And when I say for myself, automatically there is no other in the world, because it also affects the others. It radiates to my family, it radiates to my society, it radiates to my nation, it radiates to the universe or mankind as a whole. So, with this central idea, and automatically when my vision becomes like this, my time will always be well spent. Because in the present time, when I'm running by competition and comparison, when I'm running with my current vision, which everybody is doing, so let me also do it. Everybody is expanding the business and companies and whatnot, so let me also do that. But at the end of the day, the story translates like a monk who sold the Ferrari, because it doesn't give the fulfillment at heart. So when my vision changes, when my vision becomes correct, automatically my time also will be used correctly. And believe me, I'm the firm believer that there is no shortage of time for one who really wants to work with the vision. It's a wrong notion to say that I'm so busy, I don't have time. You don't have time, or I don't have time, only when I don't have the clarity of my vision and clarity of my understanding. So, holistic science summarizes this thing that correct understanding, right vision, or right belief puts all the resources into proper perspective. Incorrect understanding, wrong belief, or incorrect vision puts all the resources into incorrect perspective.
So that is a wonderful exposition of all the assets we have and how to leverage them. What do we do, Sailesh Anandji? Because after all, we are humans and we are not perfect. So what do we do if we leverage our assets like the mind, the speech, or the body in a wrongful manner, in a hurtful manner? So what is the course we should say once we realize that we have done something like that?
Sure. So, as I'm talking, that each action of my mind, speech, and body, before affecting others, do affect me first. If I'm going to shout at you, sorry, there are some echoes from some of your computers, so if you can take care of that. So, suppose I'm going to fire at my staff, having heard the news that they are playing indiscipline. You are a manager of a company and you get the secret reports that so many employees are not performing their duties well, because your well-wishers will whisper in your ear or put a note, secret note for you. And your mind starts getting revolving that, okay, let me go to office and I'll fire them and hire and fire and whatnot. Now they are enjoying at the moment, but what happens to you within? Have you ever observed? Before firing them, there is a fire within you. Before hurting them, you are already hurt or disturbed. If you see your face in the mirror, which is a wonderful discovery of this world, you will not like to see your face because it will be a frown, stressful face. And if you join yourself to functional MRI or aura energy photography machines, all the parameters will be negative. So to say that before my mind, speech, and body hurt others, I am being hurt. Before my mind, speech, and body makes others happy, I am being helped. So my first resolution will be let my mind, speech, and body not hurt any living being in the world, to even to the slightest extent. Starts with my family, starts with my colleagues and co-workers and underhands at my work, and goes down to all living beings in whose contact I come day in and day out. So still, suppose it happens that out of circumstantial pressure I have hurt somebody, and you know very well that suppose you have missed the exit or you have gone ahead, your GPS also tells you, please take legal U-turn, please take legal U-turn at the earliest available legal U-turn place. So here holistic science says that okay, as a human beings we are going to make mistakes despite our correct understanding, despite our correct resolutions, and probably despite our awareness and inner willful conscious efforts. That may happen. Nothing, not to bother much. There is always a place for legal U-turn, meaning thereby, suppose if I have hurt you and no sooner I realize, because I also get disturbed, then I'll immediately say that, oh Lord, I bow to pure self seated within Manish Bhai, which is totally free of mind, speech, body, name and name belonging, attachments of Manish Bhai. And I beg pardon for this, my hurtful behavior. Please pardon me and please give me an inner strength so I will not do it again. And here the secret is I am the first beneficiary, because whatever was the moderation and bugging effect of my mistake that gets washed off by this confession, apology, and resolution within me at the level of heart, I get my normalcy back, I get my happiness and harmony back. And in this time of satellites and cell phones, and you and me sitting thousands of miles apart, connected through these unseen waves, similarly, in presence of my pure self, the vibrations arising out of my heart do reach to you, and your mind also gets soothed out, which was sored and hurt by my misbehavior. So it works at a total science level, and it is much more beyond metaphysical, which the present science has been investigating to significant level. The modern scientists are also trying to understand how the subtle things and metaphysical things are functioning, especially in context to my life and living. And here, this principle works like this. Having said that, let me add one more thing, that when I said that my correct understanding will help me, it translates at the level of my heart. And holistic inner science says that when the present mankind will learn to live by heart, not only by intellect, then really one will be happy and all will be happy. In other words, when this correct vision, when the humanity will be at the center of all our dealings and usage of all our resources rather than only the material or commodity figures, the that is to say human love, pure human love, and at that time, we all will be happy as a new vision, new world, a new society, and probably a world which we all will like to live in, world within and world around me and world as a whole. So when the money will not be in the center, only money will not be in the center, but when the human love, when the correct vision of making others and really making myself really happy from within by this holistic inner science perspective. So holistic inner science said one very good aphorism, that there should be dharma, means moral and principlistic behavior fundamentals in all the life commerce activities. But there should not be commerce when we talk of dharma, means not the religion, but holistic inner science fundamentals of my life and living, and for that matter, everyone's life and living, which can translate our life into a happy, harmonious living. And ultimately, what are we spending our whole life and all our skills and abilities and qualifications to acquire money ultimately for what? Ultimately for happiness. If that money is not bringing me happiness, then I am probably losing the very purpose of my all the struggle to acquiring money or wealth. But if that is very much in my center, despite normal amount of money, I am attaining my purpose. So having said that, you can very well correlate that we do remember Mother Teresa. I don't know what was her bank balance, but he had a very kind and compassionate heart and living for others. But have you ever seen the her face in photographs? So calm, so composed. So enlightened ones have lived with this vision, not money in their pockets, but a heart which was full of universal love, which was experiencing oneness with one and all living beings, whether they are their opponents or friends, doesn't matter for them. They were always full of love for every living being with oneness. And what is love? You and me, what know love is really not the love, because our love is full of conditions and expectations. If my wife does this, I'm loving her. If my wife is not really hearing me, my love goes down like my stock price is falling down. But their love was universal, and they were very understanding guys, that when I start loving the people, when I start loving you all, when I start loving the people unconditionally without expectation, I don't know what is the benefit to you, but I know for certain that my heart will always remain full of love, and I always will be the happiest man on this earth. So, with this clear cut understanding that it is in my self interest, I have this heart of universal love. And when I have this heart of universal love with which the enlightened ones lived, all other resources, my time, my energy, whatever abilities and skills I have, will be used in proper perspective. Am I am I getting to the point?
Absolutely, yes. So I think there was a great exposition, Shailesh Anandji, on what are some of the assets we have outside of the financial assets, and then how do we leverage those? And if you don't leverage those correctly, what is a way to rectify our mistakes? So
Can
there was excellent summary of
can,
holistic science view on it. Go ahead.
can I add one more secret thing?
Absolutely.
The world believes that without money I will be unhappy and miserable and whatnot. But let me tell you, out of lot of observations over this holistic inner science fundamental, that it is not the amount of money which is going to give me comfort or discomfort in my life and living day in day out. Yes, it is important tool, it is important evidence, but what I am going to pass through comforts and uncomforts totally depends on something else, my inner atomic and molecular configuration which I have brought with me. And sometimes it happens that your bank balance is very fat, but when you are sick and lying on the hospital bed, there is nobody else except nurse looking after you. And you may not have a very fat bank balance, but whenever you are in need, so many friends like Puniben and Rajnibai will run to take care of you, and you will be so happy to look all of the friends running and heartily helping you. So this is a secret, that don't think that money is the only inevitable or the must factor for your comfort and discomfort. And holistic scientists and enlightened ones, and to some extent we move across the world without much of dollars or money in our pocket, and still the mother nature is so great that it takes care of all our requirements, basic necessities and comforts, because the intent and inner vision has been totally changed, that let us share these natural principles and fundamentals which we have been enjoying with the people without any material expectation, without any material condition. And the nature is great to provide us all the resources required for that, sparing aside our own bank balance. So once this secret principle is realized and observed, I think our reliance only on money, money, and money will be changed to the holistic perspective, or to the overall perspective, correct and consistent with the scientific fundamentals of my life and living nature and natural regulatory system.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, money is just just one aspect of what we call a holistic living, and it's not the only thing that we should be focused on. So that's wonderful, Shaileshanji. We have time for some questions from the audience, so let's bring in our first question.
This is Rajni Patel from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I'm a retired person, and I have some folks who are interested in this holistic science. As you can see, they are listening to them. And if time permitting, we would like to have a question from them also. But my question, Dr. Shailesh Anand, you gave a wealth knowledge on the wealth, and you expanded that into many things. But in today's world, money is the goal, money is comfort, and money is everything. So how can holistic science be right understanding we achieve that we can wholesomely live our life?
Yeah, throughout my talk, I think I have been deliberating on that only. Again, if I reiterate on it, correct understanding leads to all happiness and resolution of all the puzzles. Incorrect understanding, wrong belief, or incorrect vision leads to all the puzzles and unhappiness. Suppose if I want to come to your home, but by mistake, if I have fed the address wrong in GPS, no sooner how powerful my car is, no sooner how clever driver I am, but I'll reach somewhere else. So, with a correct understanding, first I have to understand what is destination, what is purpose, what is goal of my life and living, and then how can I achieve it. And if the destination address is correct, my car may be second hand, my car may be slow, but even slowly I will reach the destination or the goal. So as I said, with different holistic inner science understandings, first we shared the understanding about happiness, then there are understandings about harmony, and I have been observing throughout in the society that we earn money, we accumulate wealth as a goal for the sole purpose of happiness, but that very money, while we are earning, while we are spending, while we are saving, it leads us to the another corner of stress and unhappiness with our co-workers, with our family members. And unfortunately, I have been seeing, especially in your part of the world, even a small kid starts saying, "Daddy, my money." Who give you your money? And as the people grow, wife says it is my money, and I have the husband says it is my money, and the people have the decided shares in spending also. If you don't give your share, no, we are separate. The very money which was to bring us the harmony inside and outside at the family level, at the workplace, at the society, becomes a tool or a means to separate us out, becomes a tool for our clashes inside and outside. So holistic inner science says that avoid clashes. Holistic inner science gives some wonderful visions for happy, harmonious living. Some important are: avoid clashes, adjust everywhere, make your home a heaven on earth by having proper understanding on husband-wife relations, parent-child relations, how should be our vision and attitude and within and without at our workplace, and so on and so forth. Each simple understanding is so powerful, so wholesome, and so encompassing that even a single sentence is more than enough for you to experiment within your or my life and attain the best possible results. Because from wherever you go, you will reach into the center or core of a being making you happy, harmonious, enabling you to enjoy inner freedom, enabling you to realize your inner potentials, and taking you to the ultimate purpose, ultimate truth, or the ultimate science of life and living.
One question, if you have time, what is the ultimate truth, or what is the ultimate goal that you alluded to?
If I have to simplify it a lot, I'll say it into two. One, in my daily or interconnected living, where my mind, speech, and body comes into interaction with other living beings, other humans, other circumstances, my simple vision is my resolution: let my mind, speech, and body make one and all happy. Let my mind, speech, and body not hurt any living being. To support that, I have some other supporting codes of conduct like 9 diamonds or 9 codes of conduct, which tend to give me the correct or guiding vision throughout my interconnected dealings or interconnected living. When I'm looking within me, when I'm trying to reach at the core of being within me, and everybody now understands what is the core of being. Scientists are also trying to go to the core of the atom and more, and they have reached up to God particles and neutrinos, and they may be trying to know what's still further. Because once you reach to the core, all the potentialities get opened out, all the power gets opened out. So, what is the core of being for my own life and living? It is my pure self, it is my pure consciousness. So in this world of transitory happiness and in this world of relative or dependent happiness, if I am trying to search and find out what is the permanent happiness, what is the lasting happiness, what can be the happiness which is independent of everything, independent of money, independent of relations, independent of time, independent of space, can there be any? Yes. And that's what, when I can find, if I know what is my core of being, what is its identity, what is its true nature, what are its true scientific attributes, and the people simply say it, try to know who am I. But to know who am I is not a play of words. You cannot Google out. Yes, there will be thousands of pages on Google. There will be thousands of channels saying you, trying to teach you who am I. But who am I is beyond words. It has to be experienced. Unless you experience it, your conviction will not be there. Your doubts will not vanish. And that can happen only when you have a guide, only when you have a teacher, only when you have somebody who is thoroughly experienced into who am I, who is thoroughly conversant and experienced and stabilized in that experience of holistic inner science of who am I, self and non-self, who can be gracefully our guide to make us realize and experience who am I. So the true purpose of life should be divided into two. One, let my mind, speech, and body be used for others or obliging others. And second, for lasting happiness, I want to find out who am I. And having said that, whatever I'm doing, as I started, I may be a musician, I may be a dramatician, I may be a professor, I may be a doctor, or I may be a simple householder. But if this vision is operational within me, whatever I'm doing, my mind, speech, and body, my heart, my attitude, my inner vibrations will be positive, making me also happy, making others also happy. Have you ever thought around that even a housemaid coming to your home, and if you smilingly ask, have you ever smilingly asked him, is everything okay at your home? I hope everything is healthy and your kids and everybody is happy and fine at home. Experience that. Experience what is in your heart at that time. Experience what smile and soothing effect it brings onto other fellow. But we are always focused. Oh, you did not do this well. You come early. You run away early. You left this work behind. Tell that. But first, take care of this attitude. So everything will change. Whatever I am doing, whatever I am supposed to do in my relative living, professionally or socially. And then there is a perfect absolute science of conscious and matter. Holistic inner science also leads us to in-depth things. What is in my realm? What all can I do independently in this world? What all can I not do independently? What is my real, what is my relative free will? What is my real free will? Unless I know that scientific part of my life and living, my efforts will not be well directed, or my efforts will not yield me the desirable results. If I know the experiment, the very life of mine or every human being is a unique ongoing live experiment. And living as I am the experimenter. So if my knowledge is correct, knowledge of fundamentals, what is in my realm and what is not, how the things are happening, am I independent doer? If I'm knowing it well, effortlessly and easily, the results of my life experiment will be awesome, wonderful, and desirable. But if I don't know these fundamentals, there'll be confusion and chaos. More and more I put my efforts, more and more confusions it will create. And as I said, the conscious and matter, the people talk of time and space. People talk of matter, time, and space and four dimensions, but the scientists are still trying to understand exact reality of conscious. The holistic inner science also opens out exact reality of conscious and its relation to matter, relation to time and space, relation to element of inertia and element of motion. And there it is not only the way of living, it is the exact, perfect, wholesome, and complete science of conscious matter, nature, natural regulatory system, and everything. And once my vision is clear about all these things, believe me, it is not any hard efforts. Holistic science do not tell you to do any external penance, hard work to do this and to do that. It just tells you understand correctly. But from where to understand? From one who has understood correctly and who is reaping the benefits of it, who has become blissful and totally free from within, even in this world of dependencies and intricacies and puzzles, can definitely help you to open out your vision and perception and your inner understanding of this truth so that you also can become blissful and totally free from within. Science is one which doesn't work for only one person, but following the same principles and applying or experimenting with the life with the same understanding or fundamentals, thousands and thousands of people can have the same or similar results. And today, there are enough of proofs that across the world, irrespective of caste, color, creed, faith, nationality, socio-economic or literary status, thousands and thousands of humans understanding holistic inner science principles to the extent possible for them are enjoying these benefits of happy, harmonious, rich, meaningful inner living and progressing towards the ultimate absoluteness or the absolute goal and absolute truth.
Thank you very much. You've given a lot of thoughts to me, and I have a lot of questions in the future. But we have another question. So, Manishka, if you permit us to ask the question, is it okay?
Yeah. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Lashandanji, Jai Sachidanand, this is Ila Patel from Virginia.
Please.
We say health is wealth. Then how does the time factor tie in with wealth?
Yes, very good question, Ila, when you asked. Suppose I have everything. I have good mind, robust mind, speech, body, I have fat bank balance, but I don't know how to use my time. Relatively outer time as well as inner time. When I say outer time and inner time, definitely I am referring to outer living as well as inner living. If I don't have the correct understanding, I'll say, okay, I have everything, don't need to go to job. Where do I go? I go to pubs and bars, and I don't know what else is there. I don't know, so I cannot describe. So everything will be wasted down the drain. So my time is very, very important. And how do I use my time? So in interconnected living, first let us talk about the relative living or interconnected living, and then we talk of the inner living or my inner time, or so to say, people talk of personal time. But the personal time also people talk at the outer level or the mind, speech, body level, not at the level within or not at the level of heart. So having said that, once I have the vision, even in my relative living, I may be a very busy professional or I may have to go to jobs for 8 to 10 hours. But when I have understanding, as soon as I get wake up, my living starts that, okay, let me open the happiness shop right from my family members, right at the workplace, right at the colleagues, with the clients, with the colleagues and with the other people. And whatever I'm doing, my time will be used along with, so that it is obliging, it is loving, sharing, caring, and no sooner in between I get some time. Have you ever analyzed your job profile that you are on a sitting on a chair doing the job for 8 to 10 hours? Are you totally busy at the level of your relative inner self for all 8 to 10 hours, or you do get inner spaces in between? Manish bhai? We, at least I believe that the real work which engages my mind, intellect, reflective consciousness from within may be finished within 3 to 4 hours. Sorry, there is echo from your side. And always I get the pockets of spaces or time in between, even on a workplace or even amidst the busy schedule, which if I have a vision, I will try to invest and use correctly. Invest or use in holistic inner science reading, understanding, seeing audio visuals, doing something which is obliging to others, doing something which is uplifting for me as well as for others. And once I have the understanding, I never will have the time to be passed, but I always will have time to be used properly. Having said that, I have also my inner time. I'm driving car. The job is being done. It's 45 minutes run from my home to my office place. I have my inner time. I can use my time, and so many people are using time. Somebody uses it listening to the music, somebody does something else, somebody's on a messaging, text messaging. But if I use my inner time properly, which gives me happiness, which gives me uplifting knowledge, which gives me something which takes me ahead in my life and living, then my time is used. I may be sitting with all, but my inner time is going parallel. And when I have the holistic inner science vision, and if I'm fortunate enough to be blessed with who am I, then I also have the 5 guiding fundamental sentences or visions operational from within me, which always makes my inner time exactly fruitful. So my time is the biggest resource, I would say. Every other resources can be acquired. I would say even the lost wealth, lost health can be acquired, but the lost time can never be acquired. So the people say that the time lost is lost forever. So use your time properly. Not only that, but if I'm not using my time properly, also I'm creating responsibilities and debit accounts and debts and liabilities by doing something unwanted and unwarranted. I have seen the people who are retired, who have some fat bank balance. Now they have all the spare time, and they go to some friend and he is doing some good tactics at stock market. So this poor fellow starts doing stock trading because I'm free and I have time to pass, and he loses wealth and creates the debt also. So time is asset as well as a liability also if not used correctly. And it is an asset if it is used properly. And always there are 2 parallel times, relative time and real time, outer time and inner time. And there is no hindrance on my inner time. The people can take my outer time throughout the day, and they can bind me in outer time, but nobody can bind me in the inner time. And if I learn that art and science of inner living, believe me, always I have my inner choice, always I have my inner freedom, always I have my full freedom to use the inner time the way I want to use it. Even though outer perspective, I'm busy and bound with jobs and family and colleagues and whatnot. I hope this answers your question.
So thank you, Sailesh for expounding, elaborating on how to use our inner and outer time. We have time for one more question. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Rita from Tustin, Pennsylvania. Dr. Mehta, my question was similar to the one asked earlier, but just to expand on it, since time is such a commodity, is there a formula or equation we can follow by for the average Joe? Like how many hours should be dedicated for work? How much should be dedicated for giving our time? How much money should be donated? Is there some kind of formula or something? Obviously, it's subjective from person to person, but a general set of rules we can follow?
Yeah. So, Punita, when you are asking a very good question, especially in the modern lifestyle and modern living, that most of my time is going for my job and career, and sometimes even the kids complain that mom or dad, you are not giving us the quality time. So, how it should be allocated? And all of us know a wonderful story of a boy asking to his daddy, "Daddy, how much you earn per hour?" Daddy says, "Why? Why do you want to know this? I'm giving you everything, iPad and iPod and more than what you need. But please, daddy, tell me what is your per hour earning?" And daddy says $100 per hour. So the child says slowly, humbly, "Daddy, will you lend me $50, please?" Daddy says, "I'm giving you everything. Why do you want $50? Go to bed. It's bedtime." The child goes to room, is weeping. The daddy, after a while, realizes that, oh, let me look at, and goes next morning or sits, boy, why was why were you asking for $50? Dad, I have already collected $50. I was short of $50 so that I can buy 1 hour from you.
Oh,
And this is a life scenario with many of us, especially in the young, hectic years of life working. So holistic science says that your living should be holistic and balanced living. Your job, your profession, your money making is one corner. You're living with your life partner, you're living with your children, their overall upbringing. Then your time for your health, time for your inner development, time for some other works. All the corners of life and living should be understood and should be balancedly lived. If I only live for money, my health will be spoiled, my family will be spoiled. And there was a story somebody sent on email that a very young, successful CEO made so much of name, fame, money, and everything. But when he looked back, his wife had left him because he had no time for his wife. So then he changed his entire living. So first is the understanding of balanced or holistic living so that my time can be properly allocated. Secondly, in last talk about money, we had elaborated that how much efforts, how to earn, how much efforts to put behind earning. Today's world is such that if I am capable, I will work 24/7 because I have everything at home from where I can run my office, but it is my body which is not allowing me, but my greed is telling me to work 24/7. So normal and natural efforts. Normal and natural efforts means whatever your mind, speech, and body, whatever your family and other situations are allowing you normally, so that the other things are not getting suffered, not your health. Sometimes the people are so much stressed that they get a good pay package, but they have migraines, they have stress, they have headaches, and they have a lot of things, and they pay a lot for the. So above normal is also not good, below normal is also not good. Come to normal and natural. Maybe in young age, 8, 10, or 12 hours of working is good, but in middle age, try to cut down your working hours, maybe 6 to 8. Try to take more day off so that you can devote the time for more higher purpose activities. So it depends on which phase of life you are passing, but having understood the life and balance living correctly, normal efforts, normal and natural efforts for earning, even though your boss says that you work 16 hours and I'll pay you. Thank you for your offer, but let me put 10 to 12 hours, 8, 10, 12, and let me allocate the time for some other life living parts, which can be more important or equally important. And how to spend money. Also, we had talked in last talk that a part of your earning goes to fulfill your obligations of your daily expenses, including your EMIs or the loans which you had taken for your home or education or other things. A part of it goes for saving, short term and long term, not in stocks or something which is so volatile and which keeps you also onto a roller coaster, but so to say on a secured investment instruments and diversified, like not only the money instruments but also something like gold or fixed assets like land or house, so diversified that even if one corner is up and down, the other corner can take care of that. But certainly a part for being used for others or charity. Either there are four levels of charity: donation of food, donation for medical purposes, donating for educational or knowledge purposes. When I say two words, education and knowledge, education pertains to the life living, sorry, academic qualifications for earning the livelihood. And when I say knowledge, it's pertaining to the our inner living or holistic inner living, even leading to who am I. And fourth is the donation of fear-freeness, which the enlightened ones can give. They can make us fear-free from all the situations. So, uh, as my understanding becomes more clear and correct, it automatically tells us how to balance, or even without any conscious efforts, it automatically gets balanced out how much hours to allocate at what all places, how much money to how much efforts to earn, how to spend, how to save, how to use your savings, and so on and so forth. Does that answer your question, Punita?
It does. You with great clarity. Thank you.
I think this Sailesh Anandji to the end of our talk. And if you want to say a couple of brief things, you're most welcome to do so. Otherwise, I'll try and summarize what has been said. Please go ahead. If you want to add a couple of things.
If I have to summarize, as I was saying to Punita about the time factor, in a modern time when our children grew up, so many times we regret that, oh, the children did not grow to what we wanted them. But the very basic reason is our vision, our own living, and we could not allocate the quality time with the correct understanding to them. Having finishing that, if I summarize very briefly, all my resources put together, which the nature has given me, maybe money, maybe mind, speech, body, maybe my health, maybe my skills, abilities, knowledge, intellect, my heart, and my inner holistic inner science understanding, time, everything. Ultimately, if it translates into first, it translates for myself happy, harmonious living, and the vibrations are emanating from me wherever I am. Even if I am sitting in one corner of the world, vibrations reach throughout the world that let one and all become happy. The very purpose of this holistic science research foundation and this activity is this vision of holistic scientist sitting in one corner of the world that let one and all become happy. Let this holistic inner science understanding for one's own life and living reach to every nook and corner of the world so that one and all can become happy, harmonious, and rich from within. And if this is happening, even though the outer circumstances may be limiting my journey, maybe anything or whatever, but wherever I go or wherever I am in this universe or in this world, it's continuously emanating the vibrations of pure love, vibrations of bhav from within that let one and all be happy, and that keeps on working. That keeps on working for me, that keeps on working for all. And believe me, there is no other in the world. World is me only, and me is world only. And with that, it's translating, it instantly gives result. Holistic inner science says there is no future, right and here now. And if that is happening, I would feel that, okay, my life living experiment is giving me the correct results. So the knowledge or the fundamentals which I am applying seems to be correct. Jai Sachidanand. Okay, Manish bhai, you are not being heard. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Thanks for that wonderful summary, Sailesh Anandji, on the assets that we have outside of finances, mind, speech, body, knowledge, and time. And we'll continue our conversation next time. But meanwhile, if you want to check us out, please visit hscrf.org. Again, the website is hscrf.org. Our next talk will be Sunday, August 30th at 8 Central Time, which is 6:30 Indian Standard Time. Thank you, everyone. Good night and good morning to you, Sailesh.
Jai Sachidanand. Bye.